Hi guys, we're back, we're live. It's Hannah with the Heart Foundation today. We have an incredible guest joining us on Instagram Live. We are being joined today by David Foster. David Foster is an incredible musician, composer, producer. He's worked with every artist that you love. If you have not watched his documentary on Netflix, you need to watch it. It's called David Foster Off the Record. I've watched it more than once since being in quarantine. It is a definite must watch. Let me tell you guys a little bit about who I am and who we are. Like I said, my name is Hannah. I am with the Heart Foundation here in Southern California, and the Heart Foundation advocates for the early detection, prevention, and education of heart disease, which is the #1 cause of death for men and women in the United States. We are working to change that statistic. And the way that we do that, we support the innovative heart disease research that is taking place at Cedars-Sinai under the direction of Dr. PK Shah. And so if you would like to support the Heart Foundation at any point during this conversation with David, you can donate right down below at the bottom of your screen. If you want to donate after, show your support after, totally cool. Tap the link in our Instagram bio. You can purchase one of our mantra shirts. It has our mantra on it. It says, "You're never too young, it's never too late." We have tank tops, t-shirts, muscle tanks. And the reason that that is our mantra is because while we believe that you're never too young and it's never too late to be affected by heart disease, you're also never too young and it's never too late to start living a more heart healthy lifestyle. So we are about to have David joining us on here. Awesome. So happy you guys are all here. Hi, hi, hi. Dr. Shaw's in the house. So cool. Hi, David.
Hey, Hannah.
How are you?
Wow, right on time. That's unusual for me.
Right? You're very, very prompt. It's
Yes.
great. Are you in Canada or are you in the US?
No, we're back. We were in Canada in August, and we had to do the quarantine thing,
Yes.
which was kind of good. And the cases in Western Canada are quite low of COVID, so I think they're doing quite a few things right up there. But I'm back in LA now.
Nice. We're on the same time. We're in the same time zone. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so great to finally meet you. It's so funny. I don't know if you know, so Mark Littman, who is the chairman of the Heart Foundation, his son Riley is my husband.
What?
Yes. So if I don't
That's
know if you remember,
amazing.
so Riley plays the piano, and Riley also, I feel like I can say this because you mentioned it in the documentary, Riley doesn't do elevators.
Right. I remember Mark
Yes.
telling me that when Riley was a kid, but I thought, well, he'll outgrow that, but he didn't.
Let me tell you, he has not.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like I have seen photos of you at Heart Foundation events, and I've been hearing your, like, obviously on other levels other than just your professional work, but I've been hearing about you with the Littmans for forever, so it is so great to finally.
Wow. Well, everybody that is a follower of the Heart Foundation probably knows the history, but very briefly, when I got involved like 20 years ago, Mark Littman and PK Shaw did an event down in the marina somewhere, and it was very promising, but it was very minimal, to say the least. And of course, in the years since, with Mark's really hard work and PK and so many others, now you go to a Heart Foundation gala and you see Dana Carvey hosting, and you see Michael Bublé performing, and it's everybody's in tuxedos, and it's quite the event, and for such a great cause. But I was there in the beginning, so I'm happy that I could be with you today.
You're OG.
Yeah.
So I know you know Dr. Shaw very well, correct?
I do. I know Mark Littman very well. I know Dr. Shaw. And I don't know if at some point you want to not digress, but wander a little bit and tell Mark's story of his best friend. But we should get to that before we're done, right? I mean, it can't be cold enough.
I can start off with that. Absolutely.
Okay.
So, the Heart Foundation was started over 20 years ago. Mark Littman, who is our chairman and one of our founders, his very best friend, Steve Cohen, dropped dead of a heart attack while playing basketball with his friends. And he was in his 30s, super young, father of two, and had recently had a physical. Nothing showed up on the physical. He did not have a stress test done. And that's probably when if they would have caught that there was a problem. But it was a complete shock to everyone. Obviously, when someone's in their 30s, at least during that time, like heart disease, any type of heart issue is just not on your brain. I think a lot of people perceive heart disease as kind of being reserved for people who are elderly, overweight, out of shape, and Steve was none of those things.
Yeah.
So after that, Mark and all of Steve's friends and family and community, they all banded together to create the Heart Foundation, basically to prevent other people from ever feeling that type of loss. And then a couple years later, they got Dr. Shaw involved at Cedars, which, you know, Cedars is one of the top 5 cardiology hospitals in the country. It's the best of the best. So
And PK is an out-and-out rock star without even wanting to be one. You know?
You're absolutely right. It's so funny because I could gush over him and compliment, and he would just stand there and just accept it so humbly. But Dr. Shaw is watching. I know he's watching right now.
And you know, he told me about my health because I have a couple of heart type issues, and he said, "Hey, as long as you're on my watch, nothing's going to happen to you." I'm thinking, like, nobody else knows that but you and me. Like, if I drop dead, nobody's going to bust you on that. It's just I'll be gone, and you. Well, he was good until he wasn't. You know, I did everything I could, but it wasn't enough.
He can say that to you. It's so great. Oh my gosh. So I know that obviously you've attended a few Heart Foundation events. It's amazing. And then I think it was like, it was 2012 when you gave the Stephen S. Cohen Award to Dr. Shaw. We're gushing over him already. We might as well keep doing it, right?
Yeah, it was, I mean, he's a totally unique human being. He's in the shadows, so to speak. He's not in the limelight, but he's there doing his work, and he's working on some very profound discoveries that'll come to light. I'm sure they are coming to light now, and he's just so dedicated to heart disease and how he can make it better for all of us. But to go back to what you said earlier about Steve Cohen,
yes,
who it was a shock. You weren't around then, but it was a shock to everybody, especially Mark, which is why he's so dedicated. But I want to tell you a little story about a friend of mine who will be unnamed.
Okay.
His brother, very fit, athletic, 57 years old, goes for a run, comes back, and drops dead, unfortunately. And he had been to the doctor about a month before, and they did the test because it runs in the family. Mm-hmm. The doctor's office got the test backwards. And so instead of 80% clear and 20% blocked, he was 80% blocked and 20% clear. And they actually, as dumb as that sounds, and as profoundly simple as that sounds, they got the numbers backwards. Had he got the right number, he would have gone in for further tests and done the echo and done the, I mean, well, you know, whatever the,
right, whatever the
angiogram or whatever it is
that were required.
And I only tell you that because, you know, you have to be your own advocate for health, even if you have the best doctors in the world, like PK. I don't know how he could have prevented that himself, but doctors make mistakes. So you got to be so aware of your health.
You're absolutely right. Earlier this year, must have been 2 months ago. I don't know. I've lost track of time this year. I did a live conversation with a young lady who went in. She was in her 20s. She went into the ER because she was completely numb on one side of her body, couldn't move one side of her body. And she knew something wasn't right. And she also had a pre-existing heart condition, told the doctors that, and they told her that she was having a panic attack. Ooh. A week later, nothing has been fixed. She goes back in and she had a stroke. Wow. And she there was no reason for her to go back. Like, she didn't have to go back in. She was the one that said, I need to figure out what's going on. And that's such a, unfortunately, like, she set an example, you know, it's.
Yeah. And we're not bagging on the doctors. Doctors are human and they make mistakes. And, you know, when it comes to the heart, it's one of the 2 or 3 organs that we really need.
You're absolutely right. And it's actually, I think, one of the organs that people tend to ignore because they don't think about it because you can't see it. You know, it's like, you just kind of count on it. You rely on it without really thinking about how hard it's working. And our day-to-day lives, especially with stress, with eating, with the amount of sleep we're getting, with the amount of exercise we're getting, all of it impacts our heart health. So
true that. 100,000 times a day it beats, which is something like 3 billion over a lifetime. And it just keeps going, and it doesn't ask anything except that we try to take care of it, you know?
That's absolutely right. That's so great.
Do we have any questions coming up? I can't see.
Let me see here. This says a lot of these issues start at an early age. Blocked arteries, clogged arteries all start at an early age. It's too late by the time we have a stroke. That's not necessarily the case for everyone. Everyone's body is different. I think the important thing for everyone to hear me say right now is that the best first step that you can make is to see your doctor. find out your baseline. They are the person who, David and I have just been talking about how, yes, human error is always a thing, but always, 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 doctors know way more than you do about your own body. So go ahead and talk to your doctor, start at that baseline, understand where you're jumping off from.
Talk to your doctor. I just happen to be sitting at the piano.
Hit it. That's what everyone's been waiting for. You know, that. In the 7 minutes we've been talking.
Yeah.
Oh my,
What
yeah.
and
there? Someone else just
Kobe
said,
Calais signed on.
What's that?
Kobe Calais signed on. That's
oh my
great.
gosh.
Hey, Kobe, if that's you.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, we should get her on here to sing sometime because she's amazing.
That would be amazing. Oh my gosh, you just blew her up. There's no avoiding it now. Suddenly we see her name disappear.
She's already blown up. But I did get my daughters, Sarah and Aaron, and my wife, Kat, to all post about this. I should have done it over the last few days. It was last minute, but hi to all those people that love my daughters and my wife.
It was so amazing of you to do that. And I saw all of their posts. They're all so kind and so sweet. And I DM'd all of them right back to let them know.
Oh, that's great. Well, your followers should go up and count. And if they don't, there's something wrong because it's so important. And your website, I mean, your Instagram is so important and the work you do is so important. And so everybody please pay attention to what Hannah has to say. I'm just the goofball entertainment for a few minutes, but she's got the real facts.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. I could blush right now. But it is true. You know, I really have been working hard. I've been working with the Heart Foundation for about 1.5 years, and I have heart disease in my family and was just really, it was really kind of drilled into me at a young age that you're never too young to start living in a preventative way. And that you can't control your genetics, so you might as well control the way that you handle those genetics as much as you can, and treat them with so much respect. So it really is my mission to get people to see that anyone can be affected by heart disease at any time. Heart disease does not just mean that your arteries are clogged because you've been eating junk food. That's not what it means all the time. And that just because somebody looks a certain way on the outside doesn't mean that their inside is tip-top shape, or vice versa. So it really is my mission to spread awareness and let people see and understand heart disease can affect anyone. So we should, every single one of us, be building up knowledge and be acting preventatively. And I really appreciate you jumping on here to help me do that.
Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
For people that are looking, or they're at the age, I guess, I don't know what the age should be to get a cardiologist. Maybe you know, but if they are looking for a cardiologist, what should they do? I mean, PK, he would see anybody that he could, but he's not as accessible as you would. He's not accessible because he's in his little room inventing and creating and discovering.
Totally.
But how does somebody go about getting a cardiologist?
Well, first of all, I'll say that unless you have family history, you really don't need to, or unless you have any symptoms, it's probably not necessary for someone to seek out a cardiologist until they're in their 40s. That would typically be the time when you would go in, get checked out, find out where you stand. And the best way to do that, honestly, I would obviously ask anyone that you know, ask for referrals. And we live in a really, really great age where you can look up anything on the internet. Yeah. You can truly find everything that you need to find, and find reviews and find firsthand accounts. I interviewed a gentleman last year who stumbled upon a cardiologist at Cedars-Sinai because he was at work and just kind of went, you know what, screw it. I'm going to find a cardiologist now. He'd been experiencing symptoms, and he Googled best cardiologist in my area. And that is how he found his cardiologist. So that would be my advice. I don't think that, obviously I'm not a doctor. I don't think if you're 22, you need to seek out a cardiologist. But like I said, if you feel like there are some kind of symptoms, talk to your GP first, and then they can probably guide you in the correct direction.
Yeah. Also, your GP, I have a great GP now named Dr. Larry Piro, who's great about discovery and working with other doctors. But back when I was 30, I had a great GP internist named Dr. Josh Trabulus. And when I was 30-something, 35, which is a long time ago, he listened to my heart and he said, you know, you have a murmur. I think you're going to have that valve replaced by the time you're 60. And he was right, although I have not had the valve replaced yet. Mm-hmm. But what a discovery, you know, all those years ago that he found that and predicted that I would have to have it replaced. And I do have to have it replaced. He was just a little off on the calendar, but I do have to get it done. um, aortic valve. I have a bicuspid aortic valve. So it's coming, and I keep hanging on because the advancements are so great, and they can now do it through the groin or through the side where you don't have to crack your chest. And that's very comforting to me because it takes a 5-hour surgery down to a couple of hours. And Dr. Trento at Cedars is still cutting edge. Cleveland Clinic is still great for that kind of work, but it's something I have to address. So,
yeah. So a bicuspid aortic valve means instead of 3 flaps, there's 2, correct?
That's right.
That's right. So normally, for anybody watching, your aortic valve has 3 flaps that open when blood flows through, and David's has 2. So it just changes it. It restricts the blood flow, correct?
Yeah, and it wears out over the years, and it gets calcified. And I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV, so I feel like that's not true.
I love that. I like that. Yeah. So you found out that when you were 30. How did you feel
in my 30s? I'm sorry.
How did you feel that? How did you feel when you heard
that?
I didn't.
How did I feel? Well, it was, when you're 30 something, it's like, oh yeah, by the time I'm 60, they'll have like a pill for that. Yeah. And of course they don't. They do have advancements, but they don't have a pill for it. So it weighs on my mind. But thankfully, I watch it every 3 months, which is maybe a little excessive. But and my father died of a heart attack when he was 54, and I'm thinking that was in the 60s or 70s, late 60s, and they didn't have echoes back then. Echocardiogram. He probably died of the same kind of thing, where just the valve just maybe gave out because nobody was monitoring it. I don't know.
Right. Do any of your siblings?
My siblings don't have it, but all of my father's brothers and sisters, like 8 out of the 9 of them, died of heart disease. So it's fairly rampant in my family. But I'm on top of it, and obviously the message here is everybody should be.
Right. That's honestly the best thing that you can do. And you're active. Do you eat well?
Hey, how about those Dodgers? No, I actually do. I don't eat fast food. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't eat as well as I should. I have Haagen-Dazs at night, but I mean, come on. Especially during COVID. Not? What else are you supposed to do? Can you hear this piano if I was to play a little piece? Could you hear this? But tell me if you can hear it. Is it distorted or is it okay?
It's not perfect, but it sounds great.
Okay, I'll just play a little 1 minute of something just to...
Sure, go ahead.
Fun. So that was from a movie called St. Elmo's Fire, which was before your time. But the most nerve-wracking and unnerving part of that movie is I'm still friends with Rob Lowe. He was starred in the movie. It was Rob Lowe and Demi Moore and Mare Whittingham and a lot of stars. Rob, I saw him a couple of months ago. I just want to shoot him. He still looks like he did in the movie. It's just unbelievable. I mean, one day he's just going to get old. No, he hasn't. It's really annoying. It's really annoying. But what is great is that we've remained friends since that movie because he's a muso. He loves music, and he was quite involved in me scoring the movie, and we just stayed friends. But he is really, honestly, too good looking.
That's so funny. I mean, I have watched Parks and Rec in the past few years, and he looks like he's in his 20s or 30s. He looks so young. Disgusting. That's so funny. It's so great. As soon as you started playing, all the comments started blowing up. St. Elmo's Fire, St. Elmo's Fire. It's like legendary, David. So great. I wonder if there's a song that I produced. I did not write it though, but I produced it for Tony Braxton called Unbreak My Heart. I'm trying to think of songs I did that have the word heart in them. You need to know that that CD was on repeat in my house. And like I said, that CD, that like, CD, you're just barely old enough to say that, but. Whoops.
but
I
it's
mean, come on.
written by Diane Warren, who's an amazing songwriter. But that was a good time.
That is so fantastic. Oh my gosh, that just took me back. That was
What
so
are we saying
great.
here? The Heart Foundation Live do. Oh, we're getting some donations. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
can
Hi,
donate
Claudia.
below on the screen. If you don't live in the United States and it's not letting you donate down below, you can always donate via our website, theheartfoundation.org. Yeah.
Somebody's asking for this song. Do you mind? I don't want to hijack
No, David,
your moment here, but
please.
somebody's asking. This is my favorite song that I've written. I wrote it with a friend of mine named Boss Skaggs. He was the star. And it's from a movie called Urban Cowboy, which is definitely before your time. But it goes. I'm not playing it all anymore. I can't, because you know what's hard is because I can sing them, and so
Right.
but to play the melody, I've never done it.
Oh
So,
my gosh. So that was just all from memory?
Well, I mean, it's my
That
own
was
song,
just like-
so I should know it.
I know, but still, my gosh.
But if I was singing, it would be. Love, look what you've done to me. It's a little better when it's singing a song, even with my shitty voice.
Oh my God, stop. I do have to let you know how many times I've told you that I've been hearing about you for forever. Dr. Shaw and Mark have both told me so many times that you have just been your support specifically has been such an integral part to our success at the Heart Foundation. And you really are just the absolute best. And
My pleasure.
you really, really you're one of the most selfless people ever. You have your own foundation, and I know that you are just incredibly philanthropic on all sorts of levels. And
well, there's no bad causes out there. Thank you for saying that. There's no bad causes, and you just have to kind of pick and choose, because otherwise you'd literally spend every day and every night helping causes, which is not a bad way to go, but you still have to get out there and make a living, and do what we do. So this foundation really spoke to me in the early years. And as you may know, your father-in-law, who also looks great, by the way.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, he's very persuasive. He's subtly, I don't know, he's very persuasive anyway, in a subtle way, but he gets the job done. And there was no backing away from him, even if I wanted to, which I didn't want to do. But he's so passionate about his friend Steve, keeping Steve's memory alive, and you just gotta love that. I mean, that just sucked me right in, because he's so passionate about it. And his wife too, your mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
They're just a great family. And
you're absolutely right. And I have to tell you that persuasive gene, Riley totally got it.
I'll bet.
So it's like when I'm with the Littmans, it's like Mark and Riley working together sometimes, or Mark and Tammy working together, or Riley and Tammy working together. It's like they are so good. It's so great.
Well, your Riley worked you and talked you into marrying him. So
I know, right? How did I get trapped into that?
It's a good thing.
Riley just commented, he's the master of networking. That's right, Mark Littman.
Yes, he is.
Oh my gosh, that is so great.
The Heart Foundation, get it done. It's hard for me to read it because it's over the.
I know, it's like over the face. Just so many people requesting songs, saying that you're such an inspiration. Your songs are some of their favorites.
How about that song that I wrote with Peter Cetera called "You're the Inspiration"? Bring feeling to my life. You're the inspiration. Wanna have you near me. Wanna have you hear me say. No one needs you more than I need you. Don't you gotta love Peter Cetera. I mean, that voice, those lyrics, he's incredible.
Okay, Peter Cetera's tape.
You went from CD to tape.
I'm telling you, this is my childhood, in a Volkswagen van, driving with my family onto a family summer vacation. And that was the tape I swear we burned the tape out by the time. I will never forget, best memories of my dad singing along to Peter Cetera.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it's like
Wow.
it's just such a nostalgic thing for me. Absolutely love
Wow. Well, you got some miles on you for somebody so young, but that's good.
it. Thank you.
That's good.
I am so, so grateful that you jumped on here with me today.
Hey, I'm happy to hang for a bit, however long you want. Are we making any money? We're getting a lot of
Absolutely.
followers. Somebody asked for "After the Love Is Gone," which is a pretty
Mark
good song.
wants some Chicago.
Okay.
This turned into
Again,
a Foster concert hour.
Peter Cetera, again, who is my co-writer on all those Chicago songs, and brilliantly. I mean,
Yes.
I just followed in his trail. But I think my favorite song that he and I wrote together, that I produced, is this song. Everybody needs a little time away. I heard her say from each other. Hold me now. It's hard for me to say I'm sorry. I just want you to know. After all that we've been through, I will make it up to you. I promise to. After all that's been said and done, you're still a part of me. I can't let go. Peter goes, only as only he can do. He's
Really high.
amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Do you see I'm like sing along? I know every
Yeah.
word. It's the best.
Thanks.
It is the absolute
What
best.
is your? I have a question for you. Two questions for you.
Yeah.
What is your Desert Island CD? Seems how you mentioned CDs. For the rest of your life, one CD. It can be a greatest hits, but it cannot be a mixtape or a a playlist.
What's the
One,
second
and don't
question?
give me two.
What's the second question?
The second question is, who's your dead dinner date? It can be no family, not a family member, and it can be any time period, and you can pick them during any of their time period when they were alive, and language is no barrier, and they have to be truthful.
Oh my gosh, I should have been prepared for this. Do you have answers to these questions?
Yeah, I do, but you can knee-jerk it. Like, your answer may be different tomorrow, but like, what's a CD you'd want to play for the rest of your life?
Okay, so honestly, and this is something that Riley and I listen to in the car all the time. It is a soundtrack.
Frozen.
Musical soundtrack.
Yeah.
Les Mis.
Oh, great call.
Like, it is
Yeah.
it's like what we both sing along to at all times. Doesn't matter what the scenario is, what time of day that is. If that comes on, it stays on.
Great call. What are some of the songs? There's a big, Take Him Home or
Yes.
Leave Me Home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know who Ramin is, David?
Who?
Ramin Karimloo.
No.
He's a very well-known Valjean. He played Valjean. And he actually, we went to London last summer. He sang with Barbra Streisand at British Summertime Music Festival.
Really?
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's Riley's best friend. And
Wow.
he's one of our biggest supporters. Yeah.
Ramin. I
Yeah.
love it. Hey,
Yeah.
Ramin. Well, you must be good if you're doing that thing in London.
He
So that's
is
tough
like-
music.
And he looks like an Adonis too, which like does not hurt, you
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
But okay, my dead dinner date. It can be man or woman, doesn't matter.
No, it can be German. They can be Russian. They could be, South America.
I feel like I guess right now at this moment in time, it would be Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh, wow. That's you almost could have, that almost could have been your live dinner date.
Right? But I
Yeah.
feel like in my head, that is all I keep thinking is like, oh my gosh, she just passed away. So it's like, that is who I would want
Yeah.
to be with and speak with.
What time period of her life would you want her to be?
Oh, definitely. Like in her, like right after she graduated law school, she like couldn't get a job.
Right.
Yeah, definitely during that time.
Yeah, she's a force for sure. I got lucky and attended this event last year with my friend Katie Kirk, who who's interviewed her before, and it was a small event hosted by Nicholas Bergeron, who's a friend of mine also, and he got me in, or Katie got me in. Anyway, it was small, maybe 300 people, and we sat maybe 20 feet away from Ruth as she gave a 1-hour interview, and this was just last year, and it was incredible. And you know what she did, Hannah, that was so amazing? I wish I had the talent to do this or the wherewithal. every time she was asked a question by the moderator, she would do this. Well, and she took that 5-second pause to really measure her words like a true,
Gosh.
I don't know. And when she was pressed about politics, she wouldn't take the bait. Didn't
Good for
brag
her.
on anybody, didn't bag on anybody. She just said, well, we have an election coming up and we'll see what the people, she was so, it's amazing.
That right there is just like a seasoned approach. Because
Yeah.
I don't do that. I mean, I've been stepping all over your words this whole time. So it's like, gosh, to have that just awareness is so, you can't teach that.
Of course, you have to be Ruth Bader Ginsburg to demand that people will not squirm when you sit for 5 seconds
I was just
before
going
a
to say,
question, right?
they'll wait the 5 seconds.
If I tried it, they go, wake up.
David, what's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah, exactly.
So wait, I want to know, what's your Desert Island CD?
My Desert Island CD is the Beatles' #1s because it's the whole arc of their career, 23 hits from the
Yes.
start to the finish.
Yes.
And my dead dinner date is Beethoven, but I'd pick before he went deaf.
Okay. I mean, he went deaf when he was really young, right?
30-something.
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of his whole life, I think. But the reason why I love Beethoven more than all the other composers is, and this may be just be in my own head, I don't know if I'm accurate or not, but to me, he's the only of the great composers that had the firepower of that immense firepower that just sounds like cannons going off. And then he could flip on you and bring you to your knees with this romantic thing. It's just, I don't know, Mozart and Bach, they just don't move me in the same way, even though they're obviously amazing. So that's my dead dinner date. And Leonardo da Vinci would be a close second, but you're not allowed to give 2. So
I mean, I'll take 2. Those are both really good. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I feel like I would want them both to take a shower first, though, because during
yeah, I
During
think you're
that
right. Well, you mean because they've been dead for a long time, or just because that's the way they lived?
I think just because that's the way that they lived.
I know, pretty brutal.
That's so funny. That's whenever I watch any type of period piece, that's my first thought. It's, oh gosh, how bad would it have smelled in this
True that.
situation right here?
Haley Carr said, "Moonlight Sonata." You're right.
Yes. Riley wants to know why not Chopin.
Well, I mean, he was amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
totally amazing. But I mean, if I was to pick a
Your
second, I'd pick Rachmaninoff, actually, the Russian composer, because he was so romantic. And he, I mean, after you've written this melody, which I will botch, but nevertheless, I'll try it. I mean, if I'd written that, I wouldn't be talking to you today. I'd just be like, to hell with everybody.
It sounds like water.
Like, go away. You're not worthy.
Wow. Oh my gosh, I love that. You have totally treated us. You're spoiling us right now.
Hey, I'm a classical hack for sure. I mean, and when I was a kid, I was good as a classical pianist, and maybe some of the viewers can relate to this a little bit, because good is the enemy of great. So if you're not great at something, it becomes the good becomes the enemy, right? So I was never great. And I can just thank God that I wasn't great as a classical pianist, because if I was, I would be sitting here today trying to pay my rent, because I'd be like number 400 in the world, which would blow your mind when I sat down and played. And you'd think, oh my God, that's the greatest piano player I've ever heard. But there would be 399 people that were better than me, and I'd be struggling to make, $15,000 a year.
Totally.
So I'm happy that I wasn't great.
And then you went into producing.
Into pop, well, into songwriting and pop.
Songwriting.
Being a musician and traveling the world and getting beat up and getting rejected and all sorts of stuff.
Just the artist struggle.
Oof, it's brutal. It's just brutal.
It is brutal. I don't know how people do it. I really don't. It's because it is such a valiant thing to do, to follow your art and to follow what you like, your dream. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people approach life as like, what is the safe choice? What job what career can I make a lot of money at that is stable? And following an artistic career is definitely not necessarily the stable choice for everyone. So I think it's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to wander a little bit, you know, you have to circle. But I always have said that the path to success is not curved; it's straight. It's like this. So you better be prepared to put the blinders on and just go straight, because every time you wander over here or you wander over there, somebody else is not. And if you're not working on the weekends, somebody else is.
That's absolutely right.
It's true. Yeah. Although I don't work weekends.
So how do you do that? You work all the time. How do you balance that with the rest of your life?
I didn't. Just talk to my children.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, no, we're well, in my documentary, it kind of explains that the director was really good and he dug deep, but this is not going to be a tell-all Instagram, but no, something has to give when you're working that hard. I don't work weekends now, but I was just a working fool, and there was a lot of casualties along the way. And fortunately, I have a good relationship with all my daughters, but not without some, you know, some struggles. I'm sure it's that way for people that are home every night too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Of course it is.
Did you say your father, you said sort of like that maybe he's not alive, so, or is he alive?
Right. So he passed away when I was in high school. He did not die from heart disease, but his father did.
Oh.
So my grandfather passed away when he was very young. My dad was only 12 years old at the time. And I remember my dad telling me stories about his dad and saying that he remembers so vividly saying goodbye to his dad as his dad left for work that day. Like I said, my dad was 12, and hugging his dad and like smelling his dad when he hugged him. And then he said that was, I had no idea, but that was the last time I was going to see my dad. And my grandfather was on a run around the track. He was a coach, run around the track on his lunch break and had a heart attack and died. And so I remember hearing that story so many times as a kid. And then my mom was always very sure to make it clear for us so that we understood the importance of heart health, because we had that in our family. And she was always, you know, very clear with how we ate, explained everything to us, why we ate certain things, didn't eat certain things, all these things. And especially with my dad, because he was the one who's the direct descendant of that. And then my dad actually ended up getting diagnosed with cancer when I was in 8th grade. He passed away the summer before my sophomore year of high school.
Wow, that's pretty fast.
Really fast. And my little brother was 12 years old when my dad died. And so it was this bizarre repetition of events that it was like, oh my gosh, I've been hearing about this little boy losing his dad my whole life. And now here I am witnessing it. And that was really, I was 15 at the time. And that was really when I got very devoted to my health and very interested in what can I do to, like I said, live preventatively? What do I actually have quote unquote control over? And what can I do to stay here with everyone that I love as long as possible?
Well, it guided you to this place, which is so needed, and you're doing such great work. That specifically, when I was playing that little game, specifically, I said no family members, because of course you would pick your father, your grandfather over who was it that you picked? The smelling guy?
I picked RBG.
Oh, well, that's a good pick, but you would have much rather gone with your father, I'm sure.
I mean, yes, of course, but
of course.
yeah, you know, I think that I experienced loss at such a young age. I think, you know, obviously everybody experiences it. I just experienced it a lot earlier than everybody else. So, yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that. It just is, it is a part of life, and it's something that no one is ever ready for at any moment, but it sticks with you for sure, you know? Yeah.
Sure. Unless you're a horrible human.
Unless you're a horrible human.
But we're not.
I want to go back real quick. You said you were talking about how the director of the documentary dug deep and did some really great work. I have to tell you, my favorite part of the whole documentary.
Wait, your favorite part?
Yes.
Yes, is?
The very beginning, the opening credits. You are just so unapologetic. And you just said, like, listen, it's going to be done the way that I want it. It's going to be done. It was just so great. I just love it. You know,
it's interesting you should pick up on that, because it wasn't done the way I wanted. I don't know why Barry Averich, who's an amazing director, did a great job. I don't know why he left that line in there, because I had no say in the documentary at all. And I don't know why he left that in there, because the proper way to do a documentary is to let somebody else make it. Otherwise, it just becomes then I wrote, and you sit in the editing room and, oh, take that part out, take that part out. And I was never in the editing room, ever, because it's not the right way to do a documentary. So he made his film about my life. And I think that's maybe why it's so good.
It is really good. If anybody watching has not watched David's documentary, it is, I said, I've watched it multiple times in quarantine.
And while you're watching, a donation, $5, $10, anything you can would be greatly appreciated.
There
I know
it is,
we got
guys.
some
You can
of my
donate
daughter
at the bottom
Sarah
of
and
the screen.
Aaron's fans. Sorry?
No, I just said you can donate at the bottom of the screen. They can tap at the bottom.
My daughter Sarah and Aaron, who posted, my wife Kat, who posted, we got their fans there. My daughter Sarah's daughter Josie, my granddaughter, she was in the little post. So let's do it for them.
She's a ham.
Yeah.
She's in the background, like giving thumbs
Yeah.
up, dancing, wiggling.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, she's a little performer.
Typical 4-year-old, no, but she's great. She's amazing. And Sarah is a great mom, as is my daughter Jordan, as is my daughter Amy.
That is so great.
Yeah.
So wait, how many grandkids do you have?
7.
Wow. You're lucky.
Yeah, it's really great. It's really
That
great.
is so cool.
And Kat and I just got, pertaining to heart health, Kat just bought me, my wife Kat just bought me and her matching bicycles, electric bikes, but they're also regular bikes, right? Like you don't turn it on unless the hill's just so brutal that you can't. So we've been riding our bikes like out to the beach and it's been great and it's really good exercise. And you try and hold off on pushing that little eco button until you absolutely
give you the extra boost.
And then it's such a relief. It's like, oh, thank God. But
You
it's,
just feel like your legs can breathe a little.
yeah,
Wow, that's such a great
exercise though.
that's
But
such a
I was
great
saying that because
solution.
I rode over to see some of my grandchildren on the bike, which is something I would normally not do. It was great.
That's so cool. It's
Yeah.
so perfect for this time too. Like everyone is stir crazy. No one wants to be inside anymore. It's a great way to stay active and to get after it. I know.
How many people, if they could respond to this question, feel worse now than they did 4 months ago? Like April versus October or May versus October? Because I know a lot of people that I'm friends with think it's worse now than it was in May. Just the general malaise, of it.
I mean, I think that I definitely don't feel as good as I did. I feel like that snow day feeling is over. That kind of nice to play hooky a little is over. It's now just kind of like, okay, what now? What next? How do we move forward from here? And it's this also too, for me, this combination of really missing my friends, my family, wanting to hug people, not being able to, and also being terrified to do that.
Yeah, it's true. It's the weirdest time I've ever been in, and everybody says that. I mean, besides the politics and the fires and the riots and COVID and the protesting, and it's just it's a tough time.
It is a tough time. And I don't know if it's because, I don't know if it feels especially tough here in Los Angeles. I feel like things have been especially dark here.
I don't think so.
You don't think?
I think it's bad in Seattle and Portland. My daughter Amy lives in Portland. It's bad everywhere. I think it's bad everywhere.
Yeah. I just, I have family in the Midwest and I have family down in the South, and it's not like that there for them.
Oh, it isn't, huh?
No, like
Wow.
at all. It is, everything is like open and normal and no one's afraid and no one's talking about, we could talk about a million things right now, but no one's talking about politics. No one's talking about any of that stuff. So it's interesting that like you said, the West Coast.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Oh yeah. Mark Lippman, Italy. You're right. Italy. Yeah.
Italy's bad, huh?
Yeah. That's what everyone is just saying, like where it's bad. Oh yeah. And people are just saying things that they've missed, things that have gone wrong. NYC in May was a war zone. Oh my gosh. That's why we need little moments like this alive.
Yeah.
Where you
I'm
can
happy
support an incredible cause.
I'm happy to come back again. I do have more songs. So I'm happy to come back again. And we should, who have you You've been doing this for a while, right? I mean, with people,
Yeah.
doctors probably, and Mark, I'm sure.
Yeah, we did it with Mark. I did an in-person with Dr. Shaw, an in-person conversation with Dr. Shaw last year.
Oh, nice.
We've done some lives with people who are living with heart disease, people who, like I said, have survived strokes, heart attacks, and then some other people who are just very passionate about living a healthy lifestyle. Just to bring as much awareness to the cause as possible, and as much awareness to Dr. Shaw's incredible work.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
And to Mark Littman for staying on it. Like he's like a cheap suit, man. He's not letting go.
Right. That's
He's
right.
just on it, which is
And,
great. You just can't not love him.
He's the best.
Yeah.
He's the best. So I've talked to Kim Caldwell Harvey. I've talked to Willa Ford. I've talked to Jamie Foxx, Bob Harper. I've talked to Ramin. I've talked to Bert Kreischer, who's a great comedian. I've talked to people of all walks of life and professions and everything.
Jamie Foxx, I love my story with Jamie. I know him a little bit, but he came to me years ago, drove up to Malibu to my house because he wanted to sign a record deal. And I was working at Warner Brothers at the time, and I had the power to sign artists. And I looked at him right in the eye and I said, to be honest with you, you're a comedian, you're not a singer. And I think you should just do comedy records. And he was like, yeah, okay, well, thanks, see ya. And of course he went off, practically left my house, went into the studio and had a huge hit album and single after that. So I couldn't have been more wrong. But I'm the same guy that told Celine Dion not to record My Heart Will Go On, that it would actually ruin her career. Can you imagine anything more ridiculous than saying that?
Do you know that she is my ultimate?
No.
I swear to you, my
Really?
ultimate. She was the first CD I ever owned, ever. It was Christmas morning. I opened up a boombox and I got a Celine Dion CD. It was my first CD I ever owned. She is like the end all be all for me.
She's pretty amazing.
She's pretty amazing.
She's pretty amazing. Yeah.
But that is hilarious because My Heart Will Go On is like untouchable.
I don't like it. But when I really didn't like the song. I thought it was bad for it, but I couldn't have been more wrong. But I've also been super right sometimes too. And when you're wrong, you got to be wrong with conviction.
Yes.
And then when you're right, you got to go big when you're right too. And so, it's the way it sort of works, I guess.
I love that. And the best thing is that you flat out said, I was wrong. I was wrong.
I mean, I still don't like the song, so I'm only partially wrong.
Right.
But everybody, the whole
told
world
her it
loved
would end her career.
End her career. End it. And she didn't like it in the beginning too. And as a matter of fact, it came out and bombed. And then the movie came out and they re-released it. And the rest is history.
I did not know that. I
Yeah.
know with that movie. Oh,
I know. It was the perfect.
iconic.
It's perfect.
Almost as iconic as I Will Always Love You.
Yeah, that one, that's the case of where I was right.
You were so right.
Yeah, because there was another song that was going to replace I Will Always Love You. And I said, this song is shit. We can't do this song. We have to find another song. It wasn't shit. It was just wasn't right for her.
Right.
And she agreed. So then along came I Will Always Love You.
And I can't imagine a song that wouldn't be right for her.
I
So
can tell-
the fact that you...
I can tell you, because the song wasn't shit. I made a mistake by saying that. The song was really good and it was a hit. It just wasn't right for Whitney. And I did 2 demos trying to convince myself and her that we could make a go of the song. The song was What Becomes of the Broken Heart. So that part's really good. But the rest of the song, there wasn't much to it. There was not enough meat, for that impactful moment in the movie. There was not enough meat for when she's running from the airplane into Kevin's arms.
And her voice was just like, you want that.
Yeah, you couldn't get that from What Becomes of the Broken Heart.
You want that from her.
There's no money notes in What Becomes of the Broken Hearted. There's no way to get that money.
Yeah, it was probably easy for her too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was pretty amazing.
Wow, David. You're the best.
Hey, thanks. Well, have me back again, will you?
I
Let's
absolutely
raise a little
will.
more money. I noticed that some people said, I want to stay on till you're done, then I'm going to donate. So, that'll be great. We appreciate everything and anything, right?
Yes, absolutely. Guys, you can donate via the link in our bio. Our handle is just at the Heart Foundation. You can also check out our website and donate there. If you want to purchase some swag, we have shirts that say "You're never too young, it's never too late." You can purchase those. 100% of the proceeds go to supporting heart disease research at Cedars-Sinai. We also have really great baseball caps that say THF. They're so great. Yeah, support us any way that you can, because we are on a mission to change the game of heart disease. We are working really hard to change the statistics of heart disease.
Good for you. Well, keep up the great work.
Thank you so much, David.
I'll think of some more heart songs that I didn't write necessarily, but just that would be apropos.
Play us out a little bit.
But it won't be My Heart Will Go On.
Okay.
Okay, I will.
Anything but that.
I'll see. I don't even know how to play that song. It hurts me to play it.
Nailed it. David, thank you.
All right. See you later, Hannah.
Bye.
Hi to your family and the Marks
Thanks,
family.
guys.